Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with a tip today on how to mount your stamps. If you buy stamps in a craft store, generally they come mounted on wood, like this, or they come with a cling cushion background, like this, or they're just the clear kind that you can stick onto a block and go. But when you order stamps on the internet, a lot of times you can have the option of ordering them unmounted. And the reason you might want to do this is because, for one, it's cheaper, and for another, you can mount it the way you want to. And I'm going to show you the way I mount my rubber stamps. The most popular way people mount their stamps is on cling cushion. And cling cushion is a foam that has adhesive on one side that you stick your rubber to, and on the other side, it's got the non-sticky cling that would stick to your acrylic block. And the way I deal with that is when I have a full plate, I like to keep the whole plate together, and I'll stick them on a piece of my cling cushion. I just kind of pull back the backing sheet, so I just reveal the part of the cushion that I'm going to stick this to, because I don't want to get any debris on the cushion that I'm not going to use right now. And then you want to use some really heavy-duty scissors. These are KAI scissors, and they're designed for cutting rubber. And you want to trim out the block with short, quick strokes. These scissors are great for cutting this really thick material. If they get sticky when you're doing this, you can use a little Goo Gone to clean them up, and they'll be as good as new. I've never had to sharpen my KAI scissors. I don't know if they're pronounced Kai scissors or if you say K-A-I, but they're spelled K-A-I in capital letters. And then, after you've got this stuck onto your cling foam, you simply trim around your image using short, straight strokes. You want to make sure you don't undercut. You don't want to tip your scissors when you're cutting like that, because then you're going to have less underneath for stability than on top, and your edges might not stamp well. And just be careful that, like, when you cut something out, if there's still an image on that you don't toss it away, that you make sure you go back and check all your scraps to make sure that you didn't inadvertently toss away a good stamp. And a lot of times you'll buy stamps and there'll be a lot of images really close together, so you do have to take your time and be careful to trim out all the images well. I like to trim very closely because I don't like to get that black line. Sometimes you get the halo around your images when you get store-bought stamps. Sometimes that happens. So I trim them very closely. So there is a cling-mounted stamp, and you peel off the backing paper, and it's ready to stick onto your acrylic block and stamp. So there's method number one. The next method I use a lot, and I use it a lot because it's probably the most affordable way to mount your stamps, would be to use some aliens tacked over and over on the back of your stamp. And I do this for stamps that have a lot of, like if you can see this is from the new cowboy set from About Art Accents. It's all line work, and the rubber is really thick and high quality. So I know if I put aliens tacked over and over on the back, then it's going to be fine. Whoops, that's too much. So what I would do is I would dip a paintbrush in that, and I would do the back of several stamps at once. It's important that you set this aside after you're done brushing the glue on, and you let it dry completely before you attempt to use it. Once this is dry, it'll be clear, and then it will be ready to stick on your acrylic block. And you can store it on like a laminated card, or you can buy storage panels from companies like Sunday International or Stampers Best. I think Stampers Best has the best price. I also get my cling cushion there, and I kind of wait until, a bunch of my girlfriends also need cling cushion, and we'll go in on an order so we can save shipping and get a good deal. But you can buy them from different companies, and I've even made my own using contact paper. But I have found that on the aliens tack it over and over, it does seem to take the sticky off of my stamps. So I think that's a better solution for clear stamps. So anyway, so on and so forth until you have the entire set mounted. And these will be sticky over and over again for years. Another way I mount my stamps is on wood, especially for sentiment stamps. I use little Jenga blocks, that game where you stack up the blocks. Here is a stamp that I bought unmounted, but it had foam on it, sticky foam, and I just stuck it right onto this. I first stamped the sentiment on one side so I could see what it was, and then I just stuck the stamp to the back. But when I have a situation where, I mean, most sentiments don't need the cling foam. They're usually pretty thin lines and they stamp really well. You can use rubber cement. And so for this stamp, don't worry, be happy. I just used rubber cement to stick it here. And what you want to do is paint a coating of rubber cement on the rubber, like so, and also paint some on the block and let it set up for about 10 minutes. Now here's one that I've already let set up, and I indexed the back side of the block, happy birthday, and then I'm going to make sure that when I press this onto the block on the reverse side that it's going the correct way. And there, and that's going to stay really nice and tight there. And I'm also going to put the other sentiment stamps that coordinate with this on this block as well, because I always kind of reach for those stamps when I'm doing Asian cards, so it's just handy for me to have them all together. So there you have it, some very easy ways to mount your stamps. They're not very expensive, and so you can get to stamping. Thanks for watching, and happy crafting!